Okay, I have tried to record this several times and I keep messing up. And Wolf makes this look so easy because he doesn't have any blooper reels. Obviously, I'm going to have more blooper reels than anybody else. Okay, let's start over. First, let me get I need to be. Okay. Welcome to the Random Files. This story is by Albert Rosales. The location is near Luanda, Angola. The date is 1970, and the time of day is the evening. Let's just jump into this. The witness referred to as Mr. X, a Portuguese national, lived in Angola at the time and ran a company there for 30 years. One evening, he went hunting alone in the bush in an isolated area and suddenly felt something coming from behind him. He turned around and saw something in the sky, which he at first thought was a helicopter. He assumed it was performing an emergency landing and ran toward the scene to possibly render assistance to the pilots. As he approached the location, he realized that the object was so bright that he had to shield his eyes from the glare. When he got even closer, he saw something that shocked him. The object was not a helicopter, but clearly a UFO, which in the distance seemed to have a diameter of 5 meters, but which in reality was much larger, possibly 50 meters. Its shape, as described by Mr. X, was round, and on one side of the device, black smoke and fire spewed out. When it landed, a tripod-like landing gear came out. Confused, he still wanted to offer help. Meanwhile, a metal ladder dropped down from the top of the object, and 5 men got out. They wore some kind of blue diving suit that shone so brightly that it stung the witness's eyes. The men wore helmets made of glass-like material that had some kind of shiny metal cover on top, from which a tube came out and connected to the mouth and forehead. 2 other hoses ran behind and were connected by 2 metallic devices on the back of the entities. The men also seemed to have several rope-like devices hanging on their backs. They also wore These words are so small. I'm sorry. And I'm not starting over. They also wore long elbow-length gloves and boots with large shiny metal heels. They all seemed very human in appearance, and the man who appeared to be the oldest, or perhaps the leader of the group, wore a large shiny medal on his chest with an emblem shaped like a fire-breathing dragon surrounded by stars. The men were about 1.90 millimeters to 2 millimeters in height. They had light eyes, white skin, and dark curly hair. Meters, not millimeters. Oh my gosh. The eldest was taller. When the entities got I'm so sorry. I am not good at this. Alright, anyways, when the entities got down from the ship, X walked up to them. He added that one of them was carrying a strange instrument in his hand. And then he made a sign to the peace. Then he made a sign to the peace sign used by natives. This made them recoil, apparently startled. The leader then spoke to the others in a quick, foreign, and high-pitched sounding language. According to X, otherworldly and entities resemble humans. The one that seemed to be the leader turned to X and spoke to him in a melodious Spanish and told him that they were from the planet called Tios, T-I-O-S, which us Earth people knew as Jupiter. Then he scratched the witness's back, and his gesture was repeated by the other 4. As they point, the witness felt sedated. His head was spinning, and he was unable to speak. At the same time, the leader kept speaking to the witness and wondered how they could have come across a man similar to themselves. He claimed that they were here to help Earthlings and to obtain substances that were indispensable to them. The leader then invited X to inspect their craft. He then allowed himself to be lifted on board. At this moment, he was seized with panic and felt like an ant in their presence. The craft was brightly lit inside by an unknown light source. Inside, X saw hundreds of appliances and indecipherable feeder boards, monitors, etc. The leader told him that the craft was powered by some form of electricity. He was taken to a room which resembled a laboratory, which contained large maps on the wall. There he saw about 15 other men who were apparently scientists. He was then taken to the engineering hall, and there he saw what appeared to be large smoking turbines that were linked to cables, by cables. There was also equipment similar to transformers. The witness was soon escorted off the ship, and the entities and the ship left, but not before promising a return visit. According to information provided by the witnesses, nephew X apparently experienced another contact which he refused to talk about. He became very ill after this encounter and finally had to admit himself to a hospital in Lisbon. The doctors could not come up with a satisfactory diagnosis to what was causing X's illness. He died in 1973. And according to his nephew, during the autopsy, it was discovered that his organs had turned green. X never discussed the incident with anyone except for his family. I've not read this story before. Just got through the first paragraph and kept messing up. This is actually sad. UFO information, 1981, citing Jose Guerrero in UFO. This must be the picture that I'm looking at. I will be posting this in the video if I can find a way to make it like that. Anyways, thank you for your patience. Thank you for dealing with me and sticking around this long. You have a good one. Bye.